Shabbat shalom, everyone. So Joseph, our main protagonist, who has been thrown into a hole by his brothers and shipped off to Egypt by the Ishmaelites, and all the trials and tribulations, and now he stands before the most powerful person in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, perhaps the most powerful person in the world, Pharaoh, Paro. You see, Pharaoh had these dreams, and no one could interpret them, and Joseph was his man, ready to interpret these dreams. Joseph had all the answers, but it was not Joseph who took the credit for his powers of dream interpretation. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I have had a dream, but no one can interpret it. Now I have heard it said of you, Joseph, that you hear dreams and tell their meaning." And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, "Bil adi Elohim ya'aneh et shalom paro." Not I. It isn't me. God will see to Pharaoh's welfare. God will see to your shalom. So Pharaoh says to Joseph, "Here's my dream. I was standing on the bank of the Nile, when out of the Nile came out 7 sturdy and well-formed cows and grazed in the reed grass. Presently there followed 7 other cows, scrawny, ill-formed, emaciated. Never had I seen their like for ugliness in all the land of Egypt." And then here's what happened, Joseph. The 7 lean and ugly cows ate up the first 7 cows, the sturdy ones. But when they consumed them, one couldn't even tell that they had been consumed, for they looked just as bad as before. And Pharaoh awoke from his dream. And then he shares another dream. 7 ears of grain, full and healthy, growing on a single stalk. But right behind them sprouted 7 ears, shriveled, thin, and scorched by the east wind. And guess what happened? The thin ears swallowed the 7 healthy ones. "Joseph, I have told my magicians, but none of them have an explanation for me." And Joseph said to Pharaoh, "Your dreams are one and the same. Et asher ha-Elohim oseh higid leFaro." God has told Pharaoh what God is about to do. And Joseph goes on to interpret how the 7 healthy cows are 7 years, just as the 7 healthy grain ears are 7 healthy years. And those will come first. But then will come 7 horrible years, scorched years, famine years. And Joseph says, "It is as I have told you, Pharaoh. Asher ha-Elohim oseh her'eh et paro." God has revealed to Pharaoh what God is about to do. You will have 7 years of great abundance in this land, and after them you'll have 7 years of famine, and all of the abundance in the land of Egypt will be forgotten, ravaged by famine. No trace of abundance will be left, for it will be so severe. And Joseph further says, "And why did Pharaoh have 2 dreams? Why not just one? Well, this was a kind of doubling down. It means that this is determined. There's no way around it. Determined by God, Me'im ha'Elohim, and that God will soon carry it out. Joseph, who was standing before the most powerful man, could have said, well, it was me and all my powers able to interpret, but instead, pointedly, doesn't take the credit. In fact, continuously reminds us that it is God who's helping him to interpret the dreams. What is the wisdom in this? What is the teaching? We walk around our days from the mundane to the powerful, perhaps thinking too often that it is our powers that propel us forward. But there is a higher power, and there are powers beyond us. Powers so impactful they can interpret dreams. So full of life that they can take life away with a great famine. To see the meaning, as Joseph interpreted meaningfully the words of Pharaoh's dream, to see the meaning in our own lives, the higher power that is there, the higher power that necessarily humbles us, where we are not in charge fully. Now, there are times where we are agents of our lives. In fact, quite often, we have a power. In this case, it's specifically said in the Torah, why was the dream mentioned twice? Well, because God had determined it. And sometimes, like a nor'easter spreading through our northeast coast, we have no power over it. It is determined by God. But sometimes, quite often, there are ways where we do have power. And we are meant to partner, as Joseph partnered with God in interpreting Pharaoh's dream, to partner with God. And so we hold that balance. We hold that balance after these miraculous days of Chanukah, a story of both the miracle of the oil that was God-given and the miracle of the Maccabees standing up in their own personal agency to fight the injustice. Some things in our hands, some things in God's hands. So may we be so blessed to be grateful and to acknowledge God's presence in our lives, never taking the credit, always giving it where it is deserved, nor shying away from our place in the world, our own personal agency. So may we be so blessed. Shabbat Shalom.